I think I've been knitting and crocheting for a good 4 years now consistently. I learned to crochet when I was like a teenager, but I picked it up in COVID. I taught myself how to knit and pretty much the rest is history. I then started posting some of my knits and like progress videos and stuff like that in January of 2023. So more than 2 years ago now. So whilst some of the initial projects I'm struggling to like trace back, anything from 2023 onwards, I can trace back everything on my TikTok. And I thought we could look at all of the things, well, the majority of the things that I made over the last 2-ish years and kind of see what I actually still own and wear. If I don't wear something, why don't I wear it? What was wrong with it? What can I learn from it or have learned from it? And maybe just like 2 years later, what lessons have I learned throughout my knitting and crocheting journey. So right at the start, one of the videos that performed the best was my rating everything I knit in one certain month. So my first video was rating everything I knit in January, and that actually got a lot of views for like having just started making TikToks. In January, I had just started using my knitting machine as well as my small round knitting machine. I forgot what they're called, the Santro knitting machines. So I was making a lot of things very quickly. I wouldn't necessarily say that knitting machines are any quicker. The Santro definitely is, but you're very, very limited on those machines. But I was obviously able to make bigger garments in a shorter amount of time than if I was hand knitting them. So just as a little bit of context. All right, so we have this white, it was kind of like a speckled yarn, very basic tank tops. They were literally just 2 rectangles sewn together at the shoulders and the sides. So in terms of construction, there wasn't much going on, but they didn't really need them. Like they still fit really nicely. I did just always have the curling up the bottom, which is like the same as when you just like cut a t-shirt and then it curls at the bottom. So I didn't really love that. This was really cute. I did sell this on to my friend Abby, so it does still live with someone somewhere, just not with me. This blue one, the exact same construction. I do not know why I got rid of this. The blue was gorgeous, but I think I was making so many things at the time that I just didn't really want to wear them myself, or I was very much in like a perfectionist state at this point in my life. So I don't know if I sold it, if I literally don't know what happened to it, but I would love to wear this now, to be honest. I then made a black one. I have one like this in my wardrobe. I don't know if it's this exact one. It has to be, unless I made another one very similar to that. But yeah, I have one like that in my wardrobe. I don't wear it as often, but I have worn it a few times since making it. I think this one and the next black one, they were done on my Santro, so very limited in terms of construction. They were just like tubes attached to each other. And the brown yarn, I mean, it says there I got that one from my grandma. I don't know if I would have picked it out myself. I think like even now in hindsight, I don't really know what else I could have done with that yarn. The black top I gave to my sister, and I made a very similar one for myself afterwards, like a year later or so, and I still wear that one to death. So you can't really go wrong with like a very simple long sleeve black top. Then we get my first successful projects on my knitting machine. I made this green dress and I honestly popped off with that one. Like I didn't have a single clue what I was doing on my knitting machine, and I just ended up making this like striped. Again, everything is just rectangles. There are no decreases anywhere. I kind of like that kind of fit on me, just something boxy, oversized, not very shapely. So yeah, I love the like stripe of that, and I love that I went for a different stripe, like a smaller stripe for the other sleeve. I think that makes this dress stand out so much. I fucked up though, because I was so excited when I made this that I want to say that same night I went out to like a gig, or I think I went on a night out. Don't ask me why I wore a knit dress, probably wouldn't do that now, but anyways, I blocked it and I didn't let it fully dry. So when I went out, I think I must have worn like a crossbody bag, and it really irritated the yarn, so it was really bobbly. I think now it's not so obvious anymore, but it really, really annoyed me at the time. And also, who goes on a night out with like, first of all, a knit dress, but second of all, a piece of clothing that isn't even fully dry yet? Definitely would not do that now, but I was just so excited. I still wear this dress in the autumn, pretty much the same outfit here, loafers, boots. It's a nice one. And then this dress was also incredible, probably one of the most amazing things I've ever made. Lovely color block, no increases anywhere, it's just boxy fit. I have that one still. I have worn it a few times over the last couple of years. I don't wear it anymore. I might get back into it. I might want to wear it again. And also it's just a really nice piece to like keep for memory. So I'm happy to keep that in my wardrobe forever and ever and ever, really. Then I made a bunch of hats. Again, I think that was on my Santro because I didn't know what else to make on that machine. I realized I was very limited, and I had all this fuzzy yarn. I think I might have sold a couple of them. I'm not a big hat person, beanie person, which is interesting because there will be a lot of hats coming up. Don't really make hats anymore because I've made too many over the years that I don't ever really wear. So that was January, and like I said, that did really well, that kind of video. So I made one for February as well, but before that I made a video rating all of the things I knit and kept over the last 2 years. So this includes some crochet as well. So we have this granny square jumper, and to be fair, I have worn that one a lot, very similar to the color block dress. I haven't worn that one in a while, probably not really my style at the moment, but I will never get rid of that. I still think it's amazing, and I'm sure maybe in the future I'll wear it. If not, it's a really good memory to have. I popped off with that one, I can't lie. This knit vest I really, really like. This was one of my very first projects that I made when I learned how to knit, and I just used a bunch of random scrap yarn, knit these like 2 rectangles, somewhat added this like neckline around it. I don't think I did it in the round. I must have just like, I actually have no idea how I did. I really like the concept of it. I just never knew how to wear it, so I do think I have sold this one in the end. But it is really cool, and I think the colour work is really shining through. My colour decisions and colour work hasn't changed at all. Like I still very much go for the same colour schemes, which is very interesting to see. This one is very cute. I think I have since then extended it because I made it way too short at the time because I was getting impatient. It's just the construction of it all. It's really odd. It doesn't fit very nicely. So I think it's just in a pile somewhere. This was free-handed though, so I think it's still quite impressive that I was able to make this without a pattern. I just didn't like fully have the experience of constructing something properly. I now have a much better understanding of how to construct a cardigan. Speaking of cardigans, I also made this one, and I have worn this cardigan to death. Like, it is holding on by literal threads at this point. It's fully bobbled. The yarn is so stretched out. Like, the tension of this whole cardigan is just expanded over time. It's also just like an acrylic alpaca blend, so it's not like the best like material, but I love this cardigan. Again, zero understanding of construction. Everything about this is wonky, but somehow it still fits so nicely. It's so comfortable. I have started working on a pattern for this, and I struggled so much to recreate it because I obviously want to recreate it with like the correct maths and everything making sense, but all my recreations have never looked like this because I'm now making it with the knowledge that I have. It's been really hard. I do want to frog this cardigan in particular because I can't wear it the stay is, and at the moment, so I'm going to reknit it. I'm going to hopefully write a pattern for it and release it because I just want the pattern for myself, to be honest. And it's actually crazy to think that I made this so early on in my knitting era because, yeah, it's one of the best pieces I've ever made, and I made it so early on. This was a bit of a random project. I must have just randomly cast this on to hand knit. I have found my love for linen cotton blend yarn with this project. It is so soft, so airy, so breezy. So I think 2022, 2023 specifically, I wore the absolute shit out of this one, especially on like nights out to just throw on at the end of the night. Really, really loved that. Yeah, like it says on there, it's kind of falling apart because I have worn it so much. I don't know where it is now. I don't really wear crop things like that anymore, so I don't know, it must be one of my boxes upstairs because I don't think I would sell it because, again, it's like, it's just memories, you know. I loved it so much. This one I've sold to my friend Ella, and I have seen Ella wear it a few times before, so that's very cute. I made this one like an 8-hour train journey. These mesh crop things were very trendy at the time. I can't think of a single outfit that I would wear them with. However, I made another one. This black mesh one. It looks horrible. Like, the mesh design of that one. You can tell that I got bored of the mesh design in the beige one because that one's much smaller. But then in the black one, I made the mesh bigger. It just looks way worse. So yeah, again, no idea where that one ended up. It must be in the depths of my wardrobe somewhere. Going into February, we have this top, which is the same as the crop one. I think I had a bunch of yarn left over, so I made another one. And I really like this patchwork design that I made. I must have like copied that from something I've seen on Pinterest. I don't think I would have been that creative at the time. I think I wore it a few times. I rated that one very highly. at the time. I said this will be a summer staple. I don't think it actually ended up being a summer staple. Then I made another one of my maxi dresses. This one I made a little bit longer, and this was a gift for my mum for her birthday, I want to say. And she has worn it a few times since then. So yeah, I can't really comment on it. Then I made this blue ribbed basic tank top on my knitting machine. It says a nice snug fit. I think it was very snug because the ribbing obviously makes it a lot smaller. So I think I did cast on a very big piece, but the knitting bed is only so large or so long. So I think this might have been the biggest I could have made this with the ribbing pattern. I don't think I ever wore this out in real life. Then I tried to get into basics. I made this one on my knitting machine. I'm pretty sure this was supposed to be a jumper for my boyfriend. Basics and stuff like that. Weirdly, I actually do just suggest to use a pattern. I think you can get away with self-drafting, more wacky type of thing, unless you're really knowledgeable in like knitting basics already, then obviously go ahead and free draft. For me personally, basics have always been something that I need to follow a pattern for, because inconsistencies and bad fit and construction is a lot more obvious. So the same with this knit vest. I don't know what I was doing there. I think I tried to do this like fake ribbing by just dropping every third stitch or whatever, which just made it more meshy rather than ribbing. I don't know. I never got a ribber for my knitting machine, and I think that really put me off actually working on it. I haven't worked on it in a very long time. A ribber might make me more interested in it, but yeah, you can't do ribbing on the machine that I have, and so that was me trying to work around it, but it didn't turn out very well. I made this teeny tiny little top, I want to say, on my knitting machine. I'm not sure what I was trying to achieve there. It's literally a bra. I tried to do a basic jumper on my Santro. Again, horrendous. I want to say it added the cuffs and the neckline on like hand knit needles. Horrible. So bad. Going back to the basics, just follow a good pattern and make a good basics. This vest, never wore it. Possibly would wear that now, like the sort of like, I mean, similar to the top I'm wearing here, the kind of like fixtures in the middle are quite trendy. I could have just added some bows on, but I think that was one of those projects where I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was just kind of knitting for the sake of knitting. I made another dress. This time it was mini, but for some reason, oh, it says there, I tried a 1x1 pattern and the stitches are too loose, so actually turned out to be see-through. I think I was getting lazy, or I wanted to do things quicker, and that is what you get from that. It doesn't turn out as well if you try and rush it. Like I said, I made a bunch more hats. Didn't wear any of them ever. I think I was just trying to get rid of my yarn stash. So because these types of videos at the time performed the best for me, I started, and I think you can tell it in this month already a little bit, I started to put pressure on myself to make more items more quickly. And so the quality of my garments definitely went downhill. And I'm a little bit conflicted about that, because naturally I think that's bad. You know, you want to spend a good amount of time making quality items, perfecting your things, fixing your mistakes, and knitting and crocheting isn't about being fast paced. You know, it's not the fast fashion industry. Things are meant to be slow. You are meant to take your time, and I didn't prioritize that. However, at the same time, because I made so many different projects in such a small amount of time, I learned a lot, and I learned a lot more from the pieces that didn't work out than I did from the pieces that did work out. So I'm conflicted, because I think if I went back in time I would just do the same again, because I wouldn't be where I'm at now with my skills. But at the same time, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone to do the same. I would just always say take your time, choose your projects wisely, fix your mistakes. You do not need to create 10 or 20 pieces a month. It's ridiculous. Then we are getting to March. I also have short hair. Thank God I cut my hair. Looking back at these videos, my hair was not in a good state, so I'm glad that is gone. We have this blue mohair jumper, free-handed, really cute, looks really nice. I love the like variation of the yarn, looks really good. Sold this one on to a friend again who absolutely adored the jumper way more than me. I kind of knew that I wasn't going to wear it very much, based on nothing other than the fact that I hated wearing my own makes at the time, because I think looking back now, the things that I was making, I wasn't considering how they would fit into my wardrobe and what I actually enjoy wearing, which I prioritize so much more now. And I actually enjoy wearing my pieces way more now, and it's not like a chore to wear them, like they just naturally fit into my wardrobe. I wasn't ready at this point yet to consider things like that. This again, I think was a Santro make, not incredible, but again, sold it onto a friend who loved it, so that's fine. This dress was the first one I actually decreased for my waist. It turned out incredible. This really proved to me how important construction is and how important it is to take the time to look at the smaller details, because this was just, it fit me like a glove. However, I have sold it since then. I should not have sold this dress. I should have just kept it, because I would wear this now. This to like a wedding would be so cute. And I literally made it to fit my body measurements. Yeah, let's move on. I'm fuming about that. I made this cute little striped one. I think again, I kind of did like a decrease to just make it go in at the waist a little bit more, which is very sweet. I sold this one as well. This took forever to make. Each individual stripe is a different type of colored yarn, so can you imagine the sides of this? After I finished it all, I had to weave in so many ends, and it made the sides really bulky. Didn't love it. It was way too small. I mean obviously it fits, but I think I was really going for an oversized fit, and this goes back to the fact that I was limited with the sizing on my knitting machine. I could only go so wide, so I think that was like, must have been the widest I could have gone. I don't know what happened with this, whether I sold it or not. This definitely should have just been like a hand knit project. This was hand knit. It was self-drafted. I held the yarn double. It's so ugly. I'm sorry. I think I have sold this. I'm so sorry to the person who bought this, but it's actually so ugly. Don't know what I was thinking with the color, like holding these strands together. The construction of it, what the hell is going on? Why is the neckline so low? And why are the armholes so big? And why is the ribbing so thick? Everything about this is absolutely horrendous. I free-handed one too many vests, which all turned out horrendous. And it took me way too long to just like follow a pattern and actually learn how to make one. I was very stubborn at the start and very impatient, which meant that I didn't teach myself anything new. I got into using the punch cards on my knitting machine, so I made a bunch of these little bags. The green one I actually wore a lot the following month. The other ones I'm not quite sure. I'm in Germany here, so these are some things that I made probably in April and May, I want to say. I made this fluffy vest and I added these lace things in there. I really wanted to do the lace thing. I remember that. I think again, I just made it a bit too cropped, and it's just like rectangles, so there isn't really any shape to it. It's just really awkward. I spent so long on this flower vest, and it actually turned out incredible. Like, yes, I wasn't wearing them at the time. I don't know if I would be wearing them now. That I actually can say already. It's one of the biggest takeaways looking back at the last 2 years. I was way too keen on selling my pieces for way too cheap. This green top is really cute, and I would actually wear this a lot more if it wasn't this kind of green color. I just don't love it on me. I don't know, maybe one day I will wear it, but even in this video I'm really tan and I didn't even look good in it then. Projects like this always encourage me to continue really honing down my color palette for my projects, because I've made some interesting yarn choices over the last few years. I have a couple backless tops. They were too cropped. Don't ever wear them because of that. This drop stitch top is actually really cute, and I was thinking about this the other day. I still have it upstairs somewhere, and I might get it out for the summer because it is so cute. This was like a very basic granny stitch jumper, random that I made this, but I have sold it since then. And again, the colours, I don't know what, I would have never worn the colours anyways. This jumper I really like. It has a really cool patchwork design. I think I am selling this on my shop, but again, same with the drop stitch top. I might get this out and wear it this autumn because it's really cool. Some of these things I really didn't appreciate at the time. It's crazy. I do think in this video you can kind of slowly see how I'm getting better, more experimental, and like better with my fit, I think, a little bit. I made this little bag, but I made it in a like twine fabric, and it's just the texture of it I couldn't deal with. I don't know if I sold it or if I still have it, I don't know. Oh my god, this bag. Do I still have this bag? Wait, this is so cute. Wait, I can't remember selling this. Right, this bag, I literally have been, I'll show you here, I've been pinning some similar types of bags for like sewing projects. I literally made this like 2 years ago. I have no recollection of that. I need to try and find it because I totally would wear that now. I remember at the time I made it and I never wore it for anything. I was so ahead of the trend. Like the filet crochet is so trendy now. Yeah, I need to make a note to find that bag. I'll try and find it later so I can show you. Right, we are in August of 2023. Things I've made recently, I clearly couldn't be asked to rate things anymore. So I made this raglan top. Very cute. Again, way too cropped. Never ended up wearing that. I think I did sell it though, so it's cute. I like the colour design. I think it was my first, well, maybe my second raglan project. This bow tee changed my life a little bit because I love this. The fit is perfect. The crop is perfect. Like it's like the perfect midriff kind of crop. I love the little baby tee sleeves. I've been meaning to write a pattern for this, but because I made this one on my knitting machine, I'd have to recreate it hand knit, and part of me feels like it's going to be really boring to knit. But I should do it because it is really, really cute. Ended up making loads of these on commission when I still took commissions back in the day. So yeah, I made a lot of these in the end. This granny stitch vest, very cute, inspired by the designer vest, which I then found a pattern for, a free pattern. So I think I either freehanded this or followed the pattern, I can't remember. It's a bit of an awkward fit on me personally, but it is a very cute project, which I did use for a photo shoot actually, and it looked really cute on the model. This mesh long sleeve, I actually didn't wear that much just because of the sides, but what I did end up doing is recreating this in a black yarn and making it a little bit more cropped and just sewing it on the sides, and I wear that one all the time. I think I mentioned it earlier in regards to the Santro one that I made. Not necessarily got much use out of this, but it led me to making something else that was really good. This bandeau top I made on the Santro, and you can see I am holding in my breath. Like I could not breathe out in this. And this is how big the Santro machine goes. Obviously you just like do it in a tube. So it's just for my measurements, it just didn't work. The stitches are stretching out so much. I love the color design of it. It's a really cool stripe. Like I would totally have worn this if it didn't like cut off my circulation. Oh wait, here we have an official video. Everything I made in August. Okay, I'll leave out all the bits that we've already spoken about. Oh, this one is so cute. Now, someone did buy this recently and I'm very happy for them. I very much appreciate when people buy things off me. Low-key wish I kept it. Like, I never wore it. Over the 2 years, I never wore it, but it just looks so cute. Like, it looks really cute there. It looked really cute when the person sent me a photo of them wearing it after they bought it. I would say I'll recreate it. I know I won't, but this is such a cool like, summer piece. Oh yeah, here you can see I made some 3/4 sleeve versions of the bow tee as well, which is also very cute. I think I have sold this one. Didn't love how tight the arms were in the end. I definitely preferred the baby tee version. Oh my god, can you remember that year the mesh dress was such a big trend? I tried to jump on that, and I think I did this on the Santro again, and then like unpicked some stitches, but you can see some of the stitches weren't unpicking, and it just, I don't know where I thought I would be wearing that to. Oh, I even say not sure anymore about the mesh trend. I don't know if I ever was sure about it. I literally was just following the crowd. Another lesson learned, do not follow trends. You can follow trends if you really like them, but like the mesh trend is just zero practicality in my day-to-day life. Then I made this cardigan, and it's kind of cute, like I like the colours, but yeah, I made the bows way too big. They actually look like sausages hang around my throat. I could have just done different bows. I made this granny stitch jumper. I made a video tutorial for this one as well. I can't lie, I've never wore it again. It's crazy because I literally have a tutorial on this that people still continue watching to this day, but I never wear the project myself. And I feel really bad about that. But it's also one of the reasons why I don't do tutorials anymore, because I feel like a massive hypocrite, because it'll just be something that I'm like obsessed with at the time. But actually like 2 years later, not wearing the thing that you made a tutorial on is humbling. Very much was in my drop stitch era, so I made this mohair drop stitch top. Very cute. I like the blue, but no idea where I would wear this to. This beach dress meshy thing, right, I made back then, and I have thought about selling it before a few times, and I never did. And I think now this year I'm going to take this on my holiday and I'm going to actually wear it. It's so weird, isn't it? Like, I don't know what has changed in the last 2 years, but for some reason this is now perfect for my wardrobe. And I've thrown it on a few times this year over bikini, and I cannot wait to wear it. So this is a good example for things that sometimes are really, really good to hold on to for later on. As we saw throughout this video, there are many things that I should have held on to, but I got too ahead of myself and sold them. So if you ever think about selling any of your pieces, hold on to them for a couple years. I know it's a chore, I know it's annoying. Hold on to them. You have spent so long on them, and maybe they'll come round, and eventually you can always sell them. Maybe just try and sell them to friends and family, because I feel less bitter about those, because people I love are wearing them now. Okay, that was August. I don't know if I made one of these in September. Okay, I swapped to carousel layout. That's fine. These are things that I made sort of end of August, September, I think. I was commissioning these bow tops that I made, a lot of them. I made them in different colours, long sleeve, different variations. I made this black mini dress, which I wore to my 23rd birthday, yeah. And I still have it. It's just so tiny, so I could probably add like a section underneath underneath, or I think what would be really cool is like a filet crochet section at the bottom, because the construction of it is really nice. It's backless. I just think in the future maybe I'll amend it, but because it was also my birthday dress, I don't want to get rid of it. I feel very attached to it. I made this Wolf Alice jumper, which I made too short. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too cropped, and I don't know if I have the yarn anymore to amend it. I like the text on it and stuff like that, but yeah, I just never ended up wearing it. I don't even know where it is. It must be upstairs somewhere. Then these are some things I must have made in like October, November time. So I made the Sophie scarf, which honestly, I always feel so embarrassed, because when people are like, why would you pay for the Sophie scarf? It's so easy, just look at a photo and you can do it yourself. I low-key struggled even following the pattern. I don't know why, but it wasn't that easy. Why is everyone saying it's such an easy pattern? I didn't find it that easy. I think I gifted this one to my mum. So yeah, again, didn't get to wear it. Made a long sleeve bow top. That must have been a commission. So again, didn't wear it myself. Lots of bonnets, which I also have a pattern on, and I love knitting bonnets. They're so fun to knit. I just never wore them. I'm really exposing myself here, aren't I? I made this cord. So I made trousers for the first time on my knitting machine. Very cool. I haven't worn them separate or as a cord. I haven't worn them. It's just so disheartening. Like, I spent a very long time on them and I never wore them. I don't really know why. I think it's just like the construction isn't 100%. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about this one. This actually is heartbreaking. Let's skip. All right, granny square scarf. Have I sold this one? I might have. I'm not sure. It's unfortunate because from when I was a teenager, I've always loved chunky scarves. Like, the bigger, the better. However, this year, with the rise of the Sophie scarf as well, I don't wear chunky scarves anymore. So when I made this and I put it around me, I was like, oh yeah, no, this isn't me. This isn't me anymore. So that's very unfortunate. I love it though. I love a granny square and I love how chunky they are. I continue on my beanie venture. Never wore this. I have made some good hats that actually, I don't know what, I must have not included them in any roundups. Yeah, I've made a couple good hats, but I find making hats really hard, both with knit and crochet, and I always find it very misleading when people share hats as like a beginner friendly thing to make, because I don't think it is, but that could also just be me. I made another one of my granny square jumpers because I think I made a tutorial on this on my YouTube. Very fun to make. I have never worn it again. I do still have it. I could probably sell it because I already have the other one. But yeah, I kind of mainly made that one for the tutorial, and I kind of knew I already had one that I really liked and I was never going to top that one. So yeah, this was definitely more of like a tutorial purpose, you know. This dove vest is actually so cute. I love the scalloped edge. Like, that really saved that project. This is when I started getting into duplicate stitching and it like took over my life. And now I refuse to duplicate stitch because I've done it so much and it's actually incredibly time consuming. Then I made some fingerless gloves. I also never wore them. I think I'm gonna be like so honest right now. When people say they don't like granny square projects, I kind of get it, because some projects are really ugly. And I feel like that about these fingerless gloves, even though they're my design. Like, I made these. I think this is what people talk about when they say they don't like granny squares. I would never personally wear this. I think I'm not a fingerless glove person. Maybe I am. I don't know. Just not these. I do have a pattern out there, so if you do like them, you can buy the pattern. Yeah, I'm not really selling that very well, am I? And I did make these mittens and they were so easy to make and I love them. They're so cute and I wear them all the time. Finally, we have something that I actually wear all the time. These are so cute. At first, I didn't wear them. Felt really ridiculous wearing them out in public. However, this last winter, I wore them 24/7 because I also lost my other gloves that I had bought in a charity shop. They were gone. So these were kind of like all that I had. First, I just wore them out of necessity and then I was obsessed with them. They are so cute. Yeah, I just love them. There again is the pattern. Just go on my shop if you are interested in anything. It should all be on there. Let's do a little speed run of some things that I have made. We have the Scooty, very similar to the mittens, something that I didn't wear the first year that I made him. To be fair, the first one I made was in February, so it was in winter time. So last winter of 2024, I did really wear the Scooty a lot and I loved it. It was so practical, it really kept me warm and I just felt like, you know, I look cool, I liked it. I made this cable knit jumper, my first ever cable knit project, somewhat of a self-drafted one. This was actually the other way around, where I wore this a lot after I made it and then it just stretched out loads and I don't really love it anymore. So I think I will need to take in the neckline a little bit. I still have it. Maybe one day I'll make those changes to it. Who knows? Then we have the Rio shorts by Earth by Morg. I talk about them all the time. I wear them loads. Another great example of a project that I do actually wear. Sort of throughout 2024, I started to change the way that I pick up projects. I started to prioritize different color schemes, colors that I already really enjoy. I focused on things that I already naturally wear in my wardrobe and just recreated more of those. It's really interesting to look back at everything over the last 2 years. You can see a massive difference in projects that have lasted much better over time because I have prioritized these different things. Another example is this blue and green jumper. Very basic shape. I don't need like a lot of crazy increases, construction, stuff like that. I just need a good basic shape, good length, and a good color scheme. And I have that in this jumper. This scarf was actually on my wish list for the longest time, and then I finally made it. And I should have just taken into consideration what I said earlier about not enjoying wearing long chunky scarves anymore. And like, I don't know why I still went ahead and made this. That didn't make any sense. And yeah, after that I made a few roundup videos on YouTube, which I could always go through in another video, but I think this one was already long enough. Yeah, we basically covered like the first year of my knitting and crochet journey pretty well there. This was very interesting, very insightful to look through, quite humbling as well. But you need to make shitty projects in order to make better ones. That is the same with any arts out there. You have to make some shit paintings, some shit drawings to get better at it. It is the next day, but I wanted to show you the bag, which I did find upstairs. I'm very glad I held on to it. I think maybe over time it must have gotten these stains, or I don't know if they already had them on, but it's such a cute little bag. I might make the straps longer just so I can have it more comfortably like as a shoulder bag, but this is so cute. I really want to make some more of these this summer. Very glad I held on to this. Also counted up as I was editing how many pieces out of all of the ones that I mentioned I do wear or have worn. I have mentioned 77 projects or items, and out of those I have worn 15. There's only 19.4% out of all the items that I've made that I've actually worn. I feel like that's quite low. At the same time, like I said before, sometimes you have to make bad pieces to make good ones. I think it would be interesting if I make another one of these videos to see the percentage in all of 2024, because I only mentioned a few, and also the percentage at the end of 2025, and like compare over the years if the quality of my pieces has increased. So I'm going to keep an eye out on that. Very interesting. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I will see you next time. Goodbye.